We are back. We just finished talking touchdowns, and now it's time for the NBA rundown. One of my favorite shows of the week, because on Friday, AP and I find the winners. And, AP loves betting overs, and that's been a great thing to do in the NBA this year. So sometimes give me a little nudge over the edge when the projections say over, but I'm a little hesitant. AP, it's been a wild week in the NBA, but I know that as a team, we've done pretty well. I've been using the core plays, and I've been min cashing every night. So I know that, if you just get the right things, you can be at the top of the leaderboard there, because most of the plays that I'm finding in those cores have been fantastic. It's just, filling out the last, 3 or 4 slots that can get tricky. But it's been a great week for me playing DFS with Run Pure. Great week until last night for betting, but it happens. How would your week treat you?
Yeah, not bad at all, and it's like good points right out of the gate there. Thinking about last night, it was like an interesting slate. I ended up bubbling because I faded Luka, which he buried me. Double OT. That's typically going to happen when you're talking about Luka Doncic and LeBron James. But Jason Tatum just had a floor type game. Marcus Smart. The peripheral pieces, if we want to call them that, of Boston really stepped up. That was a fun game to watch. I thought Ben Simmons looked really good. If you're talking just like, as a distributor, finding his teammates. It was a fun offense to watch. That you could tell they were missing KD. Boston would throw doubles at Kyrie, and it just, they were really struggling. That's where, I don't get it. No, I don't think anyone's asking Ben Simmons to shoot jumpers. That's not it at all. But when one of your guys is getting doubled constantly, if you just slash to the rim instead of hang out on the perimeter, like a traditional point guard does. It would have to be a lot of easy buckets, you would think. But the guy's just too passive offensively. His passing looked awesome, though. His defense looked awesome. That was a fun game to watch. But man, it's been a decent week, and I'm looking to put the exclamation mark on it with a big night tonight.
Yeah, fun slate, a little smaller than usual. Usually we do 11. We have 9 tonight, but still plenty of opportunities to find the winners. And while you're doing this, I'm filling out the playbook for the members of Run Pure Sports. And you already have your heat map up for the guys that Run Pure, right?
It is filled out.
Yeah,
so
we're getting it done to have set for a winning night. And of course, if you're not familiar, AP does a heat map for DraftKings. Does FanDuel.
So if you're a member, and if you're a SaberSim member, I'm going to try something tonight to see. There's always so much going on up to lock. So I might be getting in over my head doing this, but I'm going to try to, in SaberSim, have a heat map player pool and get the heat map core plays tagged in there. So if you want to use that in MME formats, I'm going to give it a test run tonight going up to lock. So something you can expect.
Right. And that's one thing that I'm pretty proud of, being a part of Run Pure, is that we're always trying to make the product better. Even though, we're at the top of the leaderboards all the time and winning units on the betting side, right? We're never stopping to try to improve. So I'm really proud of that. And I'm sure you are too. Let's dive right in. The first game we have on the docket, the Atlanta Hawks are -2 in Indiana, taking on the Pacers. Totals 238.5. It's kind of a surprising number to me. I have the Pacers winning outright. The Pacers have been playing excellent. I know the Hawks got a nice couple wins here.
Yeah, it's
on this recent
Halliburton's out. Halliburton's out, so that's probably what's throwing it off, right? But I'm with you. I think on this Pacers team.
Oh,
were your numbers, were they factoring Tyrese Halliburton?
No, because on Basketball Monster, when someone's ruled out for a long time,
yeah, you got to go.
They don't take them off the list. Dang it.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you go, so actually, there's a lot of cool tools over at and what's funny is they have so many cool things, but it takes some work, getting in there and finding out how to use them. So if you have their membership, which actually is really cheap, I just pay for it annually. I think it's 20, 30, maybe $40 or something. But you can go to the depth charts tool. That's going to break down everything. Or you can go to, I think, if you click Usage Monster, it'll bring up their whole roster and it'll show you who's in and out. So,
okay. I actually need to do that then because I don't mind paying the extra for things like that. I pay for podcasts. I pay for the Athletic, right? I feel like it's all worth it. So I'll be doing that. Obviously not while we're on the show, though. How much do you think I should adjust this projection here for the Pacers? How many points is Halliburton worth?
I mean, all right. So he does so much for them, obviously, but anytime he's been out, Nembhard has been the guy that stepped up. They still have Buddy Hield, Miles Turner, who's playing. I mean, they're playing incredible ball right now. Aaron Nesmith's been awesome on both ends. Mathurin, like he's going to have an impact off the bench. And then you got TJ McConnell, who always seems to do his thing. So it's a tough, like I think the Atlanta side, betting that side of this is a trap, in my opinion. I kind of like the Pacers here at home spread.
All right, so like 1 point, 2 points. I think it could be worth 3. Right?
I'm always the worst at like putting a point number on the value of a player. And it's not the individual player. You have to measure it to the replacement. So here's my idea. You talked about Nembhard stepping up. TJ McConnell, we've seen for years, can run an effective NBA offense in short stints. You're not going to go anywhere with TJ McConnell, right? Getting a lot of minutes, but this is what you have him on your roster for, to step in on these nights, keep the offense flowing. He knows how to find the right guy. He's not going to be chucking a shot right and out there trying to make a name for himself. If Mathurin's hot, he's going to feed him. If Turner's hot, he's going to feed him. I'm going to drop him 1 point. 1 point. Yeah, I mean, and think about it. You got Rick Carlisle. I mean, the guy, obviously, he's a very good coach. I know very frustrating in DFS formats because of his rotations, but coaches don't care about that. They don't give a shit about daily fantasy sports. But no, Rick is. I mean, look at what this team's doing. They're 23 and 19. We all predicted that they were going to be tanking.
They're already over their regular season win total. It was 22.5.
It's absolutely crazy. They have big wins over the, Cavs, Clippers, Raptors, all in a row. Lost to the 76ers, but that was a close game. 129 to 126. A battle against the Knicks. Give me the Hawks here. Let me pull up the Hawks. They've been in shambles. Have they turned it around at all? They've
had some good games. They've had a couple good performances on this road trip, right? They won one game in LA. I'm trying to think. I know they
didn't have Trae Young against the Bucks.
They beat us pretty well.
That's another topic. These Bucks games seem to be playing slower than normal. I don't know if it's a different change in scheme.
I know because I had the over last night, and that was just a slog.
Yeah,
what was going on in that game?
So I mean, man, the Hawks, they're still figuring. 19 to 22. Pacers have been good at home. No Halliburton, which definitely will hurt, but I think it's kind of a situation where this whole team is playing with a chip on their shoulder. No, everyone thought that they were going to be garbage and had no chance, and this team is not playing like that everyone thought they were supposed to. So give me the Pacers here, plus the points, or go the money line. Give the points to your neighbor, your friend, mom, dad, brother, sister. Give them the points because I think the Pacers are going to win outright. You got to love the total here too, man. This game's going to play fast, really fast, especially if Trae Young is back and in there. So that would be my only concern. But I still think the Hawks, man, something's up with them, but they still have a lot of firepower there. So it's maybe a slight lean to the overs.
I think up with them. They have a point guard that's not fun to play with that is entitled, was coddled by management early in his career, and now they're realizing the mistake of letting an immature player basically run the organization, right? You can let a guy like LeBron run the organization because he's going to work harder than everybody else.
We need Tyler on here. I'd want his opinion. I feel like he's a Trae Young guy, but you got DeJounte Murray now who, I mean, comes out of Pop system with the Spurs. He's a guy I'd be perfectly fine with, kind of running the offense, try to get another stud for Trae or something like that. I mean, I don't have his contract up or anything like that. I know nothing to how tied they are to the guy, but I'm with you, man.
I would sell high on him.
Yeah,
but that's just me. I just don't think so.
Why not ship him and John Collins or something? two overvalued dudes built around DeJounte. Bogdanovich has been fine. DeAndre Hunter, not like a DFS guy, but I think he plays I think he's a good role player, like a good third or fourth option. So I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah, well, we're both down on the Hawks. Even adjusting those projections for the Halliburton news, I have the team even, which of course is going to give us some value on the Pacers. I'm with it there. Now we talked about Nembhard going off. Talk to me about DFS. Is he a lock? Is he every lineup, or am I overreacting?
Yeah, I mean, he's absolutely buried you if you faded him when Halliburton was out, and he's getting the minutes. Carlisle likes him. He's going to just step right into that role. So he's 4-3, and projections across the industry are extremely high on him. So, yeah, I think he's close to a lock tonight.
All right. So start a lineup with Nembhard, and we'll see where it goes from there. Any other pieces from this game that you're targeting?
Miles Turner, definitely an interesting play. Biggs have done very well against the Hawks. You can always go to the other side of this game, too. Biggs against the Pacers, which is a flowchart situation in Anike Okongwu, 5.6K. He's fine. John Collins, if he was less expensive, I would have interest. I mean, you need a highly, highly efficient game from him to get it done at 6'8". So I just think he's overpriced. I think his right price tag is anywhere from like 5.8 to 6.4K when they're healthy.
All right. Let's move on to the New York Knicks, who are -4 in Washington, taking on the Wizards. Slight edge to the Wizards here. Better edge to the over on my numbers. One of the reasons I don't want to take the Wizards is one mistake that I felt I was making. Originally, I wasn't detracting for Bradley Beal being out. Now I believe that's a mistake, and this team just isn't as good with him out there. He's out for sure. We're still waiting for news on Gafford, Monte Morris, and Kristaps Porzingis. I'm assuming you're going to tell me if Porzingis is out, that's going to make Kuzma, Rui, and Denny more viable options like they were on Wednesday night when he missed. And I saw those guys in a lot of cores. I like the over here if I'm going to get involved. Don't necessarily love it, but I could be easily convinced. What do you think, AP?
Yeah, I think I'm just completely off this game. We have many other spots to target tonight. This Wizards team, they find different ways to beat you. We all thought Rui Hachimura, who when on the court had been playing very well this season, when you lose a guy like Porzingis, and Gafford I think was out too, like how doesn't Rui get more run there? So 20 minutes. I don't. I've been through many of these. I can't remember if it was foul trouble or not. I'm sure Chad can help us out with that. But Denny Avdia, he was awesome off the bench, I believe, or maybe he started. I believe he actually did start. A lot of that was rebounds, though. So, I mean, the guy was crashing the ball. From a DFS standpoint, I have no interest in them. The Knicks do play slow. They play, a defensive-minded type basketball when they're all healthy. I would just fade the Wizards here. And I can't bet it either. 222 seems a little bit low, but I just don't trust the Wizards to put up enough points. I think the last game that they played ended up at 197. So in today's NBA, that's a very, very low scoring game. On the other side too, with RJ Barrett back, it's tough to pay. Jalen Brunson's tough to play at 8.4K. All these guys seem a little overpriced now. So I'm most likely off of this game entirely.
All right, let's stay off the game. If you don't want to take the over, I'm fine staying away from it. New Orleans Pelicans -5.5 in Detroit, taking on the Pistons, total 234. Of course, the story around the Pelicans is that Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson are still out. Since Zion's been out, CJ McCollum's just continued to increase his points. The most recent one was the loss against the Celtics. That was Wednesday night. The team lost the game, but CJ put in 38. Now they head to Detroit to take on the Pistons. Pistons also having some injury issues. I see that Jalen Duren is out. Isaiah Stewart's questionable. Herb Jones, got a note, is questionable for the Pelicans. Two players that I think mean a lot. Herb Jones always means a lot to me. because I think you can replace offense. It's harder to replace a defender like Jones. Stewart normally wouldn't mean a lot to me from a betting perspective being out, but with Durant already out, right, it's beginning to be a cluster situation. We saw both those men miss in the last Pistons game, and the Pistons played Nerlens Noel at center there. He's all right, but even then, we don't have a backup here. I don't want to get involved in this game. I feel like my projections aren't really accurate because, for like the Bradley Beal one, okay, I can adjust or Tyrese Halliburton, right? I can adjust for this one person being out. A lot of moving parts here. Don't necessarily feel safe here. It's also giving me a small edge to the under. Don't like that either. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the under's tough to play here. Just look at with all
I
these
have it at
pieces. 232
and it's 242. I mean, 234. So it's not like a big edge either.
So, like, when you look at the Pistons and what they have, and if, like, Isaiah – actually, like, I don't think Isaiah Stewart matters that much. He's not a traditional big at all. I think he would be positive towards pace. But when you look at this team right now, it's Killian Hayes, Jaden Ivey, Sadiq Bey, and you got Bogdanovich. You got Alec Burks and then Hamidou Diallo off the bench that are key contributors. All guys that are somewhat smallish that play fast and like to shoot the ball. And this Pistons team is not playing defense at all right now. So I think it creates a nice environment for the over to hit again. 234 for a Pistons-Pelicans game, when we think about these teams historically, does seem like it's a tough button to click, but
right. My
lean is to the overs here. And I think the spread is right on. I think the Pelicans win. So they're on a road trip right now. They lost to who was it? Boston and the Mavericks, and they beat the Wizards. I don't know who they have next, but if I'm the Pelicans
have lost 5 of their last 7 games too. They're struggling right now.
Yeah, but I mean, part of it a road trip, and they face the Nets, Mavericks, Celtics, Grizzlies, and 76ers. So I mean, it's a
good point. Great point there.
Yeah, it's a tough part of their road trip. So like what I'm saying is, I think when you look at winnable games, the Pistons, this is definitely a winnable game. So. And it's one of those things where I think Detroit stays competitive, but I could see New Orleans winning by like 8 or 9. Like, I think it's going to come down to those final possessions. So tough spot. I lean the over here. I think in DFS, it's going to be really interesting. I think these Piston guys are definitely in play. Let me pull up to see who is still questionable. So if Herb Jones misses too, I would bump that up to the over. He's one of their better defenders. Mm-hmm. We would get more Trey Murphy, more Najee Marshall. We'd get more Jose off the bench. And then you got like Dyson Daniels, Larry Nance would kind of mix in. But we can attack this Pistons team right now. They were popping hard almost every position from a flow chart standpoint. Point guards, shooting guards, wings, power forward, stretch 4 bigs. All these types are absolutely popping against the Pistons right now. So it just comes down like it could be a Joval night. CJ could go off again. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to attack this team right now. I'm going to have exposure in DFS. I think it's not an easy game to target because, like on the Pistons side, there's always going to be risks with the Dwayne Casey rotations. But I like Sadiq Bey. I like Jaden Ivey again. And then we got to keep an eye on Isaiah Stewart if he plays or not.
I love CJ from a point prop perspective, but when we're looking at DFS, do you think he's going to be worth the price tag they've given him tonight?
So that's a really good question. I think when you look at all the other options, it's going to be tricky. And this is going to be a spot where it comes down to getting the projection right. Because at 9-4, the question that I would be asking myself is, if he puts up X number, what number does it take to absolutely bury me? So he's coming off an amazing game, 55. But at 9 point, almost 5K now, 55, I don't think that necessarily buries you. And it really depends on what the other guys do at that position and in that range do. Like if Trae Young went absolutely off, or if Steph Curry, which I think is going to be a fun game to talk about, he's 10-4. If Chef puts up like 67, you don't really care as much about a 50-some piece from CJ McCollum. So it all depends. I like his floor-ceiling combination here. I think he's going to be a somewhat safe play. But from a ceiling perspective, there might be other guys that could put up a higher number in that range.
All right. Yeah, I think that's a tough one for us to navigate on this slate. Let's move on and let's talk about Steph Curry. Now, AP, this is different than usual. I can't remember the name of where they usually play. Maybe it's the AT&T Center, San Antonio. I'm not sure. But I know that this game is played in the Alamo Dome. The NBA will be attempting, and I'm pretty sure they'll succeed, to break their regular season attendance record tonight. More than 60,000 tickets sold. I think the current record right now is 60-something. They're looking to go over 63. A fun fact, the highest attendance ever was at an all-star game. They had an all-star game one year. I don't remember this. It was at, I think, the Cowboys Stadium. They had over 100,000
Oh, seriously?
people there. Yeah. So I was looking that up. But how I think that this affects the game and the reason I bring it up, we've seen, right, in the Final Four, going to the big arena, right, going from the normal basketball gyms that they played in their whole life to playing in the 60,000 person stadium, messes with the sightlines a little bit. The depth isn't the same. These are not NBA shooters, though, and they're definitely not Steph Curry. I think it's an interesting game. I'm really wary of getting involved because I don't know how much this is going to affect the shooters. If anything, right, if I wanted to like angle shoot that, I would play the first half under and just say, hey, it might take them a little while to go ahead and get adjusted to these new sightlines because it's not a normal NBA arena. Part of me might be thinking, there's a difference between the college and the NBA, and these guys are going to be absolutely fine. How do you think being in the Alamo Dome is going to affect these teams, and what is your approach to this game?
I mean, that's a good question. I guess I'm not an expert at analyzing different arenas and how it affects shooting and whatnot. But your thought process, the analysis that you gave, I mean, it kind of makes sense. But when you're talking Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and these guys, I mean, who knows? I think they're going to be fine. The total here is massive. I mean, both teams aren't playing defense at all. The Dubs have lost, 3 in a row. I can't believe that game they lost to the Suns. I mean, the Suns literally punted the game where you're starting Dario Saric, Dwayne Washington, Mikal Bridges to lead the team. And they got it done, 125-113. And that was with Chef back. That was with the Foley low. It takes, you get all your pieces back. These guys haven't probably played a lot of minutes together all season long. So it's going to take a little bit of time. Even with a team like this that has the chemistry that they do, it's still going to take a little bit of time. So I think if you're the Spurs, you're really pumped up for this game. You're maybe licking your chops because the world champs aren't playing like, a world championship team. And I'm sure they could flip that switch at any point in time. It could come tonight, who knows? But the Warriors have been very bad defensively. And, the tough part, though, is what are the Spurs going to do? What are the rotations going to look like? I mean, you got to figure that Trey Jones, Keldon Johnson put up a ton of shots here. I don't trust the rotation as much. Trey Jones just coming off, back-to-back games against Memphis where he's playing against his brother. So, I mean, kind of an emotional situation there. Interesting game all around. I could see, if shooting efficiency, especially three-pointers, is off just a little bit due to what you said, I could see this game falling under the 244 total that it's currently at. I mean, that wouldn't surprise me or shock me. So, I don't know. Interesting game here. I lean kind of the Spurs side, and I'm going to stay away from the total just because it's a massive number. DFS-wise, for me, it's an ownership situation. Like if Steph Curry was going to be chalk, like if he was popping hard in a lot of the optimizers, I don't know. I wouldn't mind being under on him just because this Warriors team is finally almost healthy. And so it's just a lot of mouths to feed. But opposing guards have been absolutely crushing against the Spurs. So if the Spurs stay in it, it just makes, Steph Curry a better play. So interesting discussion point for sure.
All right. We the people jumping in saying the slate is loaded DFS wise, and I definitely agree with them there. The Phoenix Suns, the aforementioned Phoenix Suns, are plus 4.5 in Minnesota taking on the Timberwolves. total of 221.5. You talked about it, touched on it a little bit. These are two teams that I'm having problems getting a handle on right now. Some nights they look like, they're heading in the right direction. And then we've also seen some stinkers from this team. Of course, we will be waiting for news on the Timberwolves side with Kyle Anderson's questionable, but Anthony Edwards is the big name popping out to me, sitting there with the Q tag. And then Torian Prince is also there, questionable. In my mind, I think Edwards is going to play. I actually was watching live when he hurt that hip. He finished that game, and he seems to be playing through it pretty well. I just think the fact that he's getting treatment every night, they're putting it on there just in case they want to, make a decision before game time or if things get worse. But I expect Edwards to play. I ran my projections with Edwards in. On the Phoenix side, I'm still missing a lot here with Chris Paul missing the game tonight. Cam Payne's out. Landry Shamit's out and Cam Johnson's out. The concern for Phoenix, of course, three of those guys playing the guard position. Pretty thin there at guard, and they have not looked good with Devin Booker out. But every once in a while, they'll find some old brilliance. They're catching plus 4.5 here. The total's 221.5. What are your thoughts, AP?
Yeah, so the Timberwolves coming off, they got absolutely destroyed by the Pistons. But before that, they had strung 4 wins in a row together. All at home as well. So keep that in mind. And then, the Suns, they had that win over Golden State that we just talked about. That was very impressive, but then they got dismantled by the Nuggets in Denver. So, it makes sense. I don't know. I think the Wolves are the much better team. I think Ant Edward plays. You got Kyle. You have guys that, Austin Rivers isn't a guy that's going to produce offensively, but he knows basketball. He's fundamentally pretty sound in his game defensively. And then you got Anthony Edwards, D'Lo, that are going to do their thing. I like the Timberwolves here. Timberwolves side, I think, is one of my favorite bets for the night. Minus 4.5, minus 5. I like all those numbers. So give me the Wolves here. I think they roll. I'm fine getting into it now because I'm with you. I think Ant Edwards also plays. If he was out, then yeah, I would have a little bit more concern.
All right. Well, yeah, like I said, I'm fine making that move right now. I expect him to play. I think that's more of a precautionary thing on why he's on that injury report. Let's say that he does play. Who are we targeting from this game?
Yeah, good question. Like Ant Edwards, when he's in the 8K range, I think he's always in play for tournaments. It's not like he's had any monster games recently, but they always just like randomly come up, it seems like, for him. So Ant Edwards in tournaments. The other thing, too, is you can play him at the small forward position, which I always like. I'm not a Kyle Anderson guy, so I struggle to go there. I'm not a Rudy Gobert guy, so I struggle to go there. I'm really struggling with this team DFS.
Is there a Rudy Gobert guy at Run Pure? That guy catches the most slander.
My guy Bogarts Jr. in chat in Discord.
Okay, so
an awesome member, contributes. Yeah, he contributes all the time. Super, super cool dude. Had a monster win this year too. I think he won like 50K. So huge shout out to him. But yeah, he loves. He loves. I think Rudy Gobert and DeAndre Ayton. So you got two quote unquote generational talents going at each other tonight.
Oh wow.
I don't know if he's watching or not, but
I don't know where that generational got attached to his name. I've never heard anyone say that, and then everyone's talking about it. Like, I think he's
his thing last year he kept saying DeAndre Ayton is a generational talent. So we just like to give you some friendly crap.
No, I know. Really be thinking that. He's got to be trolling us, right?
I think he's serious.
All right. Well, I'm about to talk to him. Maybe we'll bring him on to explain that take. The Oklahoma City Thunder, coming off that huge win over the 76ers last night, they dominated them. The final score was 133-114. Much to my dismay, as I played the under. Wow.
Are they slow rolling us like everyone right now? Like when this team shows up and plays hard, they look like at times that they could beat anyone. Maybe not like Boston like when Boston's really playing.
I mean, they beat them 150 to 117.
Yeah,
so
yeah, very true. Very true. But I'm saying, like, it just seems like they got to have these games where Shea just looks unstoppable. I mean, the moves, like, did you see his highlights? Some of the moves that he was making?
Yeah.
I mean, he was absolutely cooking them. Like, it was crazy. The guy is talented.
Things to say for the Thunder. They're well coached. Everybody knows their role. And a lot of these players, and maybe they don't feel this anymore, but I think at the beginning of the year, they said, I'm auditioning to be on a good team. It's almost like being on a farm league team. Let me come in, play my role, put up some good tape. I can end up being on a better team or getting a bigger contract to come help a team out. So
how
lot
much
of good things going with the Thunder. Another thing is look at this injury report. It's clean, right? So
yeah.
They might be the healthiest team in the league right now as well.
Yeah, I think they got a couple bigs. JRE that's out, and then Chet, obviously, that's out. How much better do you...
We knew Chet was going to be out the whole year, right? I'm talking
no.
handicapped. They're all
how much... let's just say he was healthy. I'm not that familiar with his game. I just know he's super tall and super skinny.
So controversial as far as the scouting reports. There was guys that had him at number one as far as, NBA scouts, and then guys who didn't believe in him at all. So he was super controversial. I personally thought that he was going to be really good. He's real thin, but Porzingis was thin when he came in the league. It's not like a lot of these guys are under 23 now. It's not like you're coming into this grown man league like you were 20 years ago. I personally think he's going to be good, but he is the boomer bust type prospect.
Yeah. We the people have spoken. Chet is overrated, in my opinion.
And that guy's, and he's polarizing too. I think a lot of people have strong opinions on him. Like people think he's either going to be great or terrible. He loved to foul, but that's
who's better, him or Wembanyama? Wembanyama, right?
Oh yeah, it's not even close. It's not even close. Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Both over number one overall picks, though, right?
No, Chet was number two.
Number two? Oh, that's right. Duh.
Yeah, Tyler 1, Chet 2,
Power 1, yeah.
Keegan 4. Yeah. All right. So, but let's talk about the Thunder here tonight. So they played last night. The Bulls' last game was on Wednesday. Tough news for the Bulls, however. DeMar DeRozan is doubtful. I mean, that's got to boost your Zach LaVine interest through the roof. Zach LaVine looking like he's finally healthy. Put up 38 points in the loss to the Wizards the other night. I think the final score of that game was 119 to 113. LaVine looked fantastic. I don't really know what to make of this game, man. I'm tired of underestimating the Thunder. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I saw LaVine was popping hard in optimals, and it makes sense, but he's 9.2K. This is like
you
a tougher
him
spot.
Or CJ more in that price range?
I think I would take CJ because they're going to throw. They have a lot that they can do. They're going to throw Lou Dort at him most likely. Lou Dort's a good matchup for Zach LaVine, like to match up on Zach LaVine, one of the better on-ball defenders in the league. So I think it's a tough matchup for him. I think the Bulls get it done through Nikola Vucevic, and then the other pieces that they have, Caruso, Kobe White, Patrick Williams will have to do a little bit more if they try to shut down Zach LaVine. So that's how I see this going. And it does feel like a zigzag spot where OKC gets a big win and then they have a letdown here. But if we're getting points right now with Shea playing how he is, and then, Josh Giddey is always a guy that can pick up the slack. I think Jalen Williams, the Jalen with the Jalen, he's been incredible, man. He's a good player. I'm going to side with the Thunder here. It's not my most confident play, but it's a strong lean right now. Thunder in the points.
Yeah,
and probably the under too. Because if you just think about what they're going to do to shut down the Chicago, it's take away Zach LaVine, force everyone else to beat you. And they got role players that can put up decent numbers. I mean, Vucevic, he has to be a really strong play tonight. If you just because think about it, let's just say it's a close game down the stretch, maybe 113 to 112 or something like that, coming down to the final possessions. I mean, one of these guys is going to have a big game. If they can shut down or limit Zach LaVine, that means Vucevic, Pat Williams, maybe Kobe White or Caruso all have to contribute. And some of those guys are very cheap, so they're going to make for fine plays DFS-wise.
All right. I'm with you. I like the Thunder and the under here as well. The Orlando Magic are +6 in Utah taking on the Jazz. Jazz, streaky team, right? Started off great. Then they looked terrible. As of late, they have been playing better. Let's check this injury report. Jonathan Isaac. Why are we putting him on here? Chime Okeke is out. Jalen Suggs questionable. Taylor Horton Tucker is questionable. Colin Sexton will be back for Utah, as well as Leandro Balmero. Let me look at how I had this one projected. I have the Jazz covering here. What do you think, though? I'm not sure if I want to go against the Magic. We've been doing well with the Magic.
Yeah, but I mean, this Magic team still young. I feel like when you just think about Utah and kind of the pieces that they have, a lot more, guys there with experience, more vets, and they're just going to be more fundamentally sound. So I'm with you. I think the Jazz win by like double digits here. I think it's going to be an okay game, tough game fantasy wise. We can't how do you play any of these Magic pieces? The rotation is an absolute disaster. Paolo kind of going through that, rookie ups and downs. The guy is skilled, absolutely skilled, but it's still tough. You have a team filled with number one picks. I mean, it has to be difficult. Like a lot of egos and, because if you're number one pick, it's like you should be, all those guys probably think that they have the mindset that they're going to be the next like LeBron or in that category since they were number one pick. And now they're all on this Orlando team. So who knows? I just think DFS wise, it's so hard to play due to the rotations. And then I think on the other side, so like Malik Beasley, I think is a fine play. Jordan Clarkson more so in tournaments. We can't play Mike Conley. 5'7" seems like an appropriate tag. And then Walker Kessler. So while Orlando they have been good against bigs, it really comes down to if you get a value big in the right spot there. I think it's a good spot for Walker Kessler at 5K tonight on DraftKings.
All right. There you have it. So, yeah. Hey, my projections like Utah. You said those projections are spot on.
Have you seen Lauri Markkanen's price? So, like on DraftKings. And if you haven't, don't look at it. Because I'm just going to ask you to guess what you think it is.
9-1.
9-8.
9-8?
That's what my reaction was. I said, holy shit.
He's higher than CJ and Zach?
Oh, yeah. 9,800. So,
wow.
I
guess because he gets so many more rebounds than both those players, though. Right?
Yeah, but it's just, I think it's
points and rebounds.
But I think it's just a pricing error. I mean, he has flashed that type of upside, but I would almost rather him be like 8,700 to like 9K range, just because more people would play him. And he is like boom bust. He definitely is. Like he put 50, 36, 43, 65, 39, 51, 42. Like if you're, at 9-8, if he gets 50, that's not doing a lot for you. You need those 60-piece games at that type of tag. At least that's what I think. So I'm not going to go there.
It's not like his ownership's been ridiculous either, right?
Right. It isn't. And that's usually factored heavily into the pricing algos, ownership.
Right, because they don't want everyone to be one guy to be at 60% every night. Yeah. That's why we see Luka at 12-5, 12-9.
Yeah. He smashed last night.
Yeah, otherwise, He
buried me.
Yeah, otherwise
me and my Jason Tatum
line up, and it's just no.
Hey, I did get that one right, the one spot right though when Tatum went up against Luka, I think in Dallas. It was after they got destroyed by OKC.
And
Tatum put up that triple double.
Yeah. Denver Nuggets are +4 in Los Angeles taking on the Clippers. AP, we talked about how much Tyrese Halliburton is worth. Do you want to know how much I downgraded the Nuggets with no Jokic? 5 points. 5 points. Yeah. I think they're 5 points worse without Jokic in the lineup. And I almost feel like that's not enough.
I wonder who they start because DeAndre Jordan is 5 points might not be enough.
Might have to be more.
I think all right, so they can't start DeAndre Jordan, can they? Like that wouldn't you start Bruce Brown and just go small ball? put like Aaron Gordon at the 5, or would that be would Zubac just feast?
I mean, if they did, you have to start. You have to play. You have to. Well, I don't know about you have to, but yeah, strong consideration for Zubac, right? I mean, he would crush.
Yeah, well, he's going to crush
He would get
DeAndre
like
Jordan
15
too.
rebounds. Yeah, but at least Jordan can make his life.
I like the Clippers
he
here.
He thinks they're going to start Najee.
Najee? Yeah, Zeke Najee. That could be it too. Yeah, that would be the play.
Actually,
you can't. Yeah,
I agree with you there.
It is Zeke Najee for sure. Actually, he'll be a fine play too in DFS because you gotta. I mean, they like Zubac on the other side, so you're going to need. The game could go small also, depending on what Ty Lue wants to do. But I like the Clippers here. No Jokic, Kawhi Leonard back. He's looked decent the last few games. He was highly efficient last game, 9 for 12. I mean, that's the Kawhi Leonard. 4 steals, 1 block, 9 rebounds, 4 assists. Incredible game against the Mavs. I think Kawhi Leonard is. I wonder what people like. He's not going to pop in projections either. I mean, he's 9-9, and the projections on him are quite low. So he's going to be a low tournament play over on DraftKings. But give me the Clippers here, even though they're kind of struggling right now. No Jokic. That's going to be tough for this Denver Nuggets team.
Yeah, usually I'm big on superstar subtraction, but I mean, when you make MVP arguments for Jokic, it's watch the team without him on the floor. I mean, their net rating
it's going to be a lot of
floor is terrible.
It's going to be a lot of MPJ like running down the court, shooting bad jumpers. I mean, that's kind of what he does.
I'm adjusting this projection anymore. I'm making him 7 points. We're making the Clippers a play.
I would like to see. I mean, that does make sense, but I would like to see a little bit more Bruce Brown in this game too. He's a guy. I don't know. I like watching him play.
No, I like Brown a lot. I think the Nuggets, when they get to the playoffs, will close with Bruce Brown instead of MPJ.
Instead of MPJ, yeah.
I think you use MPJ to get ahead. If you're behind, if you're down by 10, you keep MPJ in there. But if you have a lead, you close with Bruce Brown.
When you think about Jamal Murray, so I full disclosure, the Nuggets, it's blacked out for me. They're the one team I typically only watch when they're on ESPN or TNT.
I know, that's so stupid.
It is so dumb. Pisses me off. I know, because I love watching Jokic play. So unless I do the crack stream or whatever the kids do these days.
I do that with the Kings too, and it annoys me.
But just going off how I know, like Jamal Murray plays off the ball very good because we know the ball always runs through. Jokic is always going to touch it once, if not twice, in an offensive possession. Doesn't hold the ball very much, always is passing, but Jamal Murray is good working off the ball. Bruce Brown is a good distributor, man. He can definitely find guys. So I don't mind him and Jamal like playing on the court at the same time. I think, I don't know, anything to get away from some of the bigs here. But I will say Zeke Najee. I'm not that. I got to talk to my guy Big T. He knows this team better than anyone. We'll get word from Big T. He's going to be on the Up to Lock show tonight over at Run Pure Sports. He'll have this situation dialed in like he always does.
Yeah, good time to remind everyone.
He might make fun of me for betting on the Clippers. I do think the Clippers, though. I do think that is the bet. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I just adjusted the projections more. I'm going to put the Clippers as an RPB tag.
Bones is the other guy I kept missing. I kept thinking about. But they got – I mean, my problem with that is, does Bones really impact things much with Jokic out? Because they are very deep in the backcourt. They got KCP, Jamal Murray, Bruce Brown, Bones. MPJ is a wing. Like, who knows? Yeah,
that's a good point. Of course, the Up to Lock show is for members of RunPureSports.com. Head on over to RunPureSports.com. Join it. The other thing we'd ask you to do, give us that thumbs up, right? We're here every day, Monday through Friday, giving out the winners. We're trying to get boosted in the algorithm or something that I'm not really sure of, but I do know that it's very important to hit the thumbs up because I don't want to get angry messages from Hoop if I'm not encouraging you guys to do that. So hit the thumbs up. We're going to go into the last game of the night. My team, the Sacramento Kings, are taking on the Houston Rockets once again. That was an easy win for us on Wednesday night. We gave out the over in that game. The final score was 135 to 115. Two teams, high-paced, both in bottom 10 in the league in efficiency. But sometimes these back-to-back games have zigzagged. But my idea is just to go right back to that over and not worry about the point spread. What do you think, AP?
Yeah, I mean, the second half of these games always seem to play out a little bit differently. But man, the pace here has to be good. No KPJ, which is a hit to the Rockets, but it just means that usage is going to go elsewhere.
What does he really do?
I mean, KPJ.
Yeah,
he's flashed some games where he looks good.
I mean he's really good, but I'm just saying if I'm handicapping this team, I think Jalen Green and Şengün can just absorb that usage fine. Like I don't really, I'm not downgrading them that much with them being out.
It does seem
like DFS it matters. I just don't think it matters for betting.
It does seem like a situation where you want to pick one or the other. Like think about Cleveland, and it was Garland or Colin Sexton, right. And obviously Sexton got hurt. We got to see Garland really shine. If something like this is Jalen Green's time to shine, KPJ is not going to be out that long, is he?
No, I think it's a short-term injury, but I think you're right. I think KPJ, and it might be an attitude issue, where he's going to end up being if he carves out an NBA career is what Jordan Clarkson was doing for most of his career. He needs to be a six-man scorer so I can get away with his lack of defense and get away with being a knucklehead. Let him go in there. He can chuck for 20 to 30 minutes with the bench unit. I just don't know if he's capable of being a starter on a playoff caliber team.
Yeah.
Unless everyone else is really good, of course. Like if you threw him on Cleveland, right? Well, not the best example since he got ran out of Cleveland, but right.
Right. So I think DFS wise, though, this is going to be a game that's one we should have interest in. So the projections are going to like Eric Gordon. I am not going to like Eric Gordon. I mean, how he beats you is just with raw scoring. He's not a peripheral guy. And the rotation here doesn't justify or should not back up the ownership. Like he could get there and potentially bury me as just like a fine value play, but I think I'd rather play guys like KJ Martin, who's 3'8". Even Jayshawn Tate, I know the rotation isn't fully back yet, but Jayshawn Tate is a guy that can produce. You can play him at the point guard or small forward spot. He's 3'6". He's going to come off the bench, I know, but if he played 22 to 25 minutes here, he could easily pay off that price tag. And I wouldn't be surprised if he outscored a guy like Eric Gordon. So I think this with KPJ out, Jalen Green is going to be a nice play. I think Şengün, you can go back to him. But I still don't trust this Rockets rotation that much. Tari Eason could get into the mix. They bring Garrison Matthews in. We saw that last game. He had a nice game, 25 DK points, did it on both ends of the court. Garrison Matthews, not a guy I'm going to play, though, DFS-wise. So I still think the rotation is not safe. But you can go to the bigs here. Sabonis, he's been crushing, man. He's playing good. The price tag is probably very fair, if not a little high. So I don't know if I'll get there, but then it's a good spot also for De'Aaron Fox. So this game should be fast-paced, good. I don't see any, locks DFS-wise, though.
Yeah, I don't think as a lock, but I think you have to be interested in Şengün. I know we don't go back, but it just seemed like
what was it, foul trouble last game? Or let me pull this up. He checked the minutes, man. Like they do call ticky-tack fouls on him too much, it seems like. Maybe it's because he looks so goofy when he's out there sometimes. Yeah, foul. Man, he just can't stay out of foul trouble.
Especially going against Sabonis at that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely what it was. So if he stays out of foul trouble, he put up a triple-double last game in 28 minutes. So he could absolutely crush.
All right. Well, there you have it. We've made it through the slate, but we're not done yet. Give us the thumbs up. We're going to give you the best bets. AP, start with you. Best bet today, side, total, or prop?
Yeah, I'm going to go to the Timberwolves. I just think it's a spot where they bounce back and they absolutely light them up. They've been good at home. So 4.5, 5. I like both those numbers. Timberwolves big over the Suns tonight.
All right. Boy, there's some that I really like here. But let's go with the Indiana Pacers money line since that's the plus money one that I really like. Right, that. We'll give everyone a little extra bonus boost. I see plus 107 right now on Bookmaker. We talked about how we're high on Indiana. We know that Halliburton's out. Thank you for the chat and AP for telling me that. But I think that Nembhard can absorb this usage, especially in a short-term situation, quite well. Hawks are a mess right now. I'll be happy to take the Pacers at home on a Friday night. AP, before we go, who do you think is the best spend up tonight?
The best spend up. That's a good question. That's actually a really good question because now Jokic is out.
Right.
What other studs do we have on this slate? If my heat map was filled out, I would have a good answer for you, but I don't right now. Man, like I think it's a slate where, I mean, I don't. It's going to be an interesting debate. There's nothing right now that fully, and I haven't looked at like projections hard or anything like that. I always try to build all of this out without any bias, and then I go back and I do my due diligence, look at projections, where ownership is going to be at. Man, can we say Chef Curry against the Spurs? Flowchart play in just like a crazy environment?
Yeah, let's do it. Steph Curry going against the Spurs that love to jack up shots with 16 seconds left on the shot clock. So there you have it. There's the NBA rundown for today. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you for hitting that thumbs up. AP, I think I know who he's
Don't say marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let everyone know the great content we're producing because it's a different weekend. I'm used to watching you on Sunday mornings, but I'm sure we got to do a Saturday show, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think we have
NFL content popping off, and which ones are you going to be on?
Yeah, that's a good question. I got to pull up the schedule, but we'll have shows daily for the slates. So there's a slate that has all the games, and then there's a Saturday slate, Sunday slate, and then showdown on Monday, which will be awesome with the Cowboys game. So it's going to be an awesome game, awesome showdown format too. So we'll have content up for all of that. I'm working on the heat map this afternoon for the NFL. It's just going to have all the games on there. So you pick and choose which ones you like. I'm going to have my own cores for each slate. So that'll be up over on the heat map. But then, we're having normal content for each slate. So it's going to be a fun weekend, a lot of football, a lot of money to be won. NBA, the slates are nice too. Saturday has a good slate, and Sunday I think also has a good slate. And then Monday, Martin Luther
Saturday
King.
NBAs are harder or easier? My thinking is that there's less dead money because everyone's playing football, and then the people that are playing are really sharp. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good way to put it. You're battling against the people that are in the streets
that really care, right?
Yeah. So that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. So
you still get the tilters though. The tilters that enter after they're like on Sundays. That's what I always.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. Okay, well maybe it balances out then. I personally like those slates. It just feels like there's getting less attention.
I think I mean, in today, like we all have projections. There's a lot of great tools out there. We all it's not like anyone has information that someone else can't get. So right. I think all the slates are sharp, difficult to some degree, but it's all about consistency, bankroll management, and just, having a strong process and sticking to it. And then eventually everything aligns and you have that monster day. So that's how I view it. And, so I look at it more of a big picture type of thing and not so much on a day-to-day basis.
Hey, let's give the people an upset parlay. Then we'll log off. Let's each choose a money line dog and we'll put them together.
All right. I'm going to say, do you have yours picked out?
Yep.
Yeah, all right.
We're going for big money here. Right?
Big money.
I mean,
yep.
This is don't put a lot of money. Don't put your regular unit size on it. Like maybe a tenth of a unit, 0.2, right? But to go for that home run, give me the Houston Rockets, man. The Sacramento Kings team is not.
Okay, that's the one I was looking at too.
Okay, I can do a different one.
No. You do that one.
My idea is this Sacramento's been a team that hasn't dealt with success well. They looked really good against some of the better teams. They've lost as a favorite right in this range 3 times at home already this season against Charlotte, against Washington, and what was the most recent one? I can't remember, but they did it 3 times. So if we're swinging for the fences, give me the plus 330 on the Rockets.
Let's do that with the Spurs. Massive upset. 70,000 people watching in the Alamo Dome over the Dubs tonight. I think that's what you do.
All right, let me see. So
that's got to pay some decent money.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
It comes down to Trey Jones. 258.
Plus 1580.
Oh, 1580. Okay, there you go. I like that.
100 in, it's going to give you $1,580 coming back. $1,585 plus $1,585. Right. So
I'm gonna have to put a little bit of something.
I'll put it in for $10.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Thank you for joining us, AP. Yeah, always a good time, man. I look forward to these Friday shows every week, and it's going to be a great weekend of sports. And of course, can't wait. Your team's not in action this week, but we'll be getting a little Chiefs preview from you next week.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, there you have it, guys. Like the video, check out runpuresports.com, hit the thumbs up, get that good mojo, and run pure.